There comes a time in a lot of people's journey when they get sober, but they just can't stop thinking about the booze. Now, there's a few different aspects to this I want to cover in this video. The first thing is that it's a habit. You have to look at this like it's a habit. And with any habit, it's going to take a while to get rid of it. Think about it like an ex-partner. Right? You're probably never going to stop thinking completely about this person, but the impact that they have on your life just gets less and less and less and less the more you move away from them and the more you move into something else. I mean, if you sit there and dwell on that person, and you don't get involved in another relationship, then this is something that might affect you in the long term. But if you get involved in other relationships, just like you're moving away from a habit and you're moving into other habits, then the other habits start to take over and your life starts to take a different trajectory. Now, we're not talking about a relationship here that's gone bad. A lot of people look at this like it's something that when you get into a relationship and everything was okay in the beginning. This is not that case. This is a relationship that should have never happened. This is not a poison from the amount that you're taking. This is a poison from the get-go, from that first drink that you're taking. So you have to look at that from that perspective. That is something that you shouldn't have even started to do, right? The fundamental premise of this is wrong. It's what I call a medication mindset. And it's just not conducive with living a great life, of living the life that you want to live. It's like going through life, living a life with a straitjacket on, or living a life with a handbrake on all the time. And it's just stopping you from moving forwards, from getting where you want to go. Another point is that, when we're trying not to think about something, not thinking about it is not the point. Oftentimes, in order to not think about something, you have to think about that exact point in order to not think about it. So if I said to you, don't think about a pink elephant, then you have to think about a pink elephant in order to not think about it, right? Sounds silly, but that's the truth of it. The whole aim of this is not to put the alcohol into your mouth, to destroy the habit, to destroy the behavior so that you're not doing that again, and changing the mindsets. People say to me all the time about dreaming about alcohol, that they're dreaming about alcohol and they're worried about that. I've got no problems with that. There's no drunkenness in your dreams. There's no damage in your dreams. There's no hangovers when you wake up. Nobody's getting taken out with your antics when you're drunk. You're not insulting anyone. You're not doing any damage outside of yourself. So how you think about this is what matters. How you react to the things that you're thinking about. That's where the real control lies. And it's the same thing with everything that you do in life. It's not the thoughts that pop into your head. It's how you react to those things. Self-control starts with controlling your thoughts. Right? Control is not an escape. We've got a video coming up which is all about you thinking about yourself as an alcoholic and why you shouldn't do that. And I think that's one of the cruxes of this whole issue. The words you use are an expression of the way that you think, what you think. And there's a whole other topic about whether you're actually thinking about the booze itself or you're thinking about the effects or the medication effects that you're getting from the booze, the things that you desire. And that depends on what you value. So the next thing is that this is a process. It's a process that that is built up bit by bit, and you have to destroy the old habit bit by bit. And you also have to start building new ones bit by bit as you're moving forwards. Generally, where I focus most of my coaching, we first deal with the alcohol, then the alcohol habit, then we start to build new habits. And there's lots and lots of work, lots and lots and lots of work on mindsets, on new ways of looking at things, on building self-confidence. And I think most importantly is building self-efficacy. And that's believing in yourself and believing in your abilities to get things done. I love that part because it's when you give somebody, you've heard the old analogy, if you give somebody a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, then you feed them for a lifetime. And that's basically what we're trying to do. The next thing is patience, persistence, and positivity. It's three of the things that we focus on Habits V2. You need patience in this journey. You've got to look at it like it's a long-term thing. It doesn't come about, like I said, it's a bit by bit thing that you do. You need persistence because you need to keep going regardless of how you're feeling. You're going to have days when you're up and down. It's going to be like this roller coaster thing where you've got a day where you're feeling great about it and you're not thinking about the old, the things that you did in the past. You're going to have other days where these thoughts pop into your head. You've got to have persistence, knowing that you're on the right track. And that's the positivity aspect to this, knowing that the system works, knowing that you're building the right habits, knowing that you're building the right mindsets and you're building the right ways of thinking about things. Do you get what I mean? So focus on where you want to go is another thing. You've got to have an idea about where you want to go in this life, where you want to personally go, not where you've come from, not all the things that I've left behind you. That is outside of your control. So that's the next part, is to think about what is in your control. You know, the thoughts that pop into your head, these are generally not in your control. You know, there's nothing you can do about a thought that just pops up. What you do with that thought, that's where you have the most control. That's where you have to respond. That's where your responsibility is. And you always have to look at this from the perspective of your interpretation of the thoughts that are coming in. You know, in the beginning, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, you know, this is a time when I would normally be drinking, or wouldn't a drink be nice at this stage? But you just have to interpret that as your old habit trying to push its way back in. Move forwards, focus on what you have to do, think about things from a patient's perspective. You know, think about trying to be as positive as you can and persevere moving forwards. Now, if you like this video, watch this one on 5 changes to expect in the first 30 days.